You are welcome to yet another episode of LFN What's Your Say? The leading listening show where we discuss important issues with important people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. The legal ordeals surrounding R. Kelly have captured headlines and public attention for 5 years now, with numerous accusations and charges leveled against the R&B icon. Among these charges is the alleged violation of the Mann Act, a federal law enacted in 1910 to combat human trafficking, and the transportation of individuals across state lines for immoral purposes. Also commonly referred to as the white slavery law, the Mann Act was considered a very selfish law that was meant to protect only the white females from immigrant men who were supposedly renowned for luring these American women into acts of prostitution. The Mann Act for over 100 years has been a law of debate, considering only 2 years after its enactment in 1912, it was used to racially discriminate against heavyweight champion Jack Johnson in a lawsuit that saw him run into exile, and that is now regarded a racial conviction by President Donald Trump, who pardoned him posthumous. For a law that was misused right after its enactment to target a black celebrity to have been returned in the case against R. Kelly, many who have the memory of this historical conviction have remained questioning as to whether it is not for the very same purpose that it was again introduced. Recent developments in the case against R. Kelly, particularly concerning R. Kelly's girlfriend attending the Oscars in another state, and others simply traveling to attend his multiple music concerts when he toured, have sparked debates and raised questions about the application of the Mann Act in this context. And the fact that this has also been used to charge R. Kelly for a woman that was over 20 years old back then, alleging that he did expose her to an STD without her knowledge, makes it even a more hypocritical law than we already know of. The purpose of transportation being the important element of this enactment means that for this charge to stand, R. Kelly should have transported such a woman with the purpose of exposing her to an STD, which was never the case. The purpose of travel was always clearly known, and that is to attend music shows, which is not necessarily illegal. And besides, what would R. Kelly's motivation to do this be? Yet the alleged destination states also did punish the STD exposure during the alleged period of travel. It's essential to clarify that attending the Oscars or music shows in another state does not inherently violate the Mann Act. The Mann Act prohibits the transportation of individuals across state lines for the purpose of engaging in illegal sexual activities or immoral behavior. Simply traveling to another state, especially for a high-profile social event like the Oscars, does not automatically constitute a violation of this law. Even if a crime happened during their stay in the destination state, for as long as the purpose of travel was nothing illegal, the Mann Act quickly loses its footing. The Mann Act was historically enacted to prosecute cases involving sex trafficking, prostitution, and coercion. Its primary intent is to prevent the exploitation and trafficking of individuals for nefarious purposes. In the context of R. Kelly's case, the application of the Mann Act hinges on whether there is evidence to suggest that he transported his girlfriend across state lines for unlawful purposes, and these being the alleged transmission of an STD according to the plaintiff's application. Case critics therefore argue that invoking the Mann Act in this scenario may be a stretch, especially if there is no evidence to prove that in fact the purpose of travel was to expose the alleged victims to this STD. Attending a public event like the Oscars is not inherently immoral or illegal, and individuals have the right to travel across state lines for legitimate purposes like they did. Furthermore, R. Kelly's girlfriend attending the Oscars does not necessarily implicate him in any form of wrongdoing. Unless there is concrete evidence to suggest otherwise, it is unreasonable to assume that her attendance at the event is indicative of criminal activity on R. Kelly's part. The application of the Mann Act in cases involving consensual relationships and non-coercive travel raises broader questions about the interpretation and enforcement of federal laws. Law critics argue that stretching the scope of the Mann Act to encompass activities like attending events in other states may set a dangerous precedent and infringe upon individual liberties. Moreover, focusing on trivial matters like attending the Oscars detracts from more significant issues at hand, such as addressing allegations of sexual misconduct and abuse. R. Kelly's case has sparked an important conversation about accountability, consent, and the protection of vulnerable individuals, and these discussions should remain central to the legal proceedings. While R. Kelly's legal troubles have brought attention to the Mann Act's weaknesses and misuse, it's essential to distinguish between legitimate enforcement of the law and overreach. Attending the Oscars or music shows in another state does not inherently violate the Mann Act, and invoking it in such scenarios while introducing other claims such as exposure to an STD which was never the purpose of transportation may be unwarranted. As the legal proceedings further unfold to Supreme Court level, therefore, it's crucial to prioritize evidence-based prosecution and uphold the principles of justice and fairness. According to Brianna, the major problem with this Mann Act, which makes it a threat to societal liberties, is that it has been previously misused to discriminate against black people in this country. Returning the same law to address an already prejudiced R. Kelly therefore makes concerns from fans and supporters along with case critics relevant for the protection of his rights from violation. We certainly do not want to see another Jack Johnson case. The one of 1912 was more than enough to teach us the weaknesses in our legal system, and we are not ready to witness even more discrimination against us. And sometimes we wonder when the oppressor intends to get his boot off our fragile necks and realize that we also matter in this nation of black and white. There is no doubt my people are tired of this government applying discriminatory laws against our kind even when they don't apply. By the look of things, it's not R. Kelly's case shaping the laws to be invoked but the other way round. The government seemingly had its predetermined list of laws it wanted to apply to R. Kelly's case, and is shaping them backwards to fit in his case, which is rather an impossible approach. If they think that they will get away with it, they are simply writing in the sand. According to Lisa McRae, these lies told on R. Kelly were worth lots of money, and so they weren't after the truth. The case was supposed to end at the text messages. We are therefore right to conclude that this was just about the money. We, however, have hindsight advantage. Everything points away from Mr. Kelly. Everyone is lying about their age and the details. To let them tell it, Kells is almost wanted by every girl. So why hold them hostage? Releasing them would be a lot more fun for him, I guess, for he could have new females that way. Plus it's just not what's on his mind, R. Kelly. News and spin are not facts. Proof should be what we go by. Nobody even cares that Demetrius Smith fathered T. Hawkins' baby. They want the narratives and headlines about herpes and cups of poop and the rest of the BS. If you wish to take part in a live interview discussing any of these topics, let us know by sending an email to sasha@lfnmedia@gmail.com for scheduling. Thank you for watching today's video, a production of LFN Media, giving you another perspective of issues at hand. We make it our business to keep you updated with the truth amidst the cloud of lies the media wants you to believe. It is therefore important to subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon and allow all notifications so that you don't miss out whenever we publish a new video.